I don't think you can see me yet. Ni hao, Wajao Stephanie. Hold on, let me see if I can get in some light here. There we go. It's clearly nighttime. It's funny because it's a full moon, but there's no lights on the street. That's weird. I thought I filmed walking down the street before. I have a quick question. I keep going in and out. I'm going to wait till I get to a slightly better street. Okay, I have a feeling that's going to be a little bit better. I'm going to come in and out here. Anyway, you can hear me. I am convinced of that. So I have a question for my future self and for any of you geeky language geeks, that sort of it, out there. Laundromat. Anyway, actually it's a tailoring place. What am I saying? Right, creepy lighting. My question is this. I know how the English language is usually broken down when it's taught in textbooks. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it's by complexity of grammatical points, very much so tied to, but not exclusively tied to, verb tenses and things like that. I do not understand how the grammar in HSK1 is distributed, divided up into the different levels at all. Because here's the thing. If we take just vocabulary and nuance in language, there are so many creepy dark moments in this video. There are so many, I'm coming up on some light here, there are so many nuanced possibility words. I forget what those are called in linguistics. I'm going to cross the street real quick. Ah! Alright, so there are so many possibility words in HSK2 already. May, might, can, possible. I'm telling you the English versions because I don't know them well enough yet. And I don't know how to use them well enough yet. I want to say kunong is one of them, but I don't remember for sure. But there are so many possibility words, and I don't feel like I have the basis of simple sentences, but now HSK2 already is throwing in all of these nuanced words that add really subtle meaning to a sentence, but subtle meaning that could be very important, which is why they're usually added to the sentence. So, what? That's a huge jump from HSK1 to HSK2. Huge. And there's not just one of them. I should probably count them for you, but I'm not that organized and I'm less than 2 weeks to the test, so I'm going to have to just go on my gut feeling as to what's happening and what my general gut reaction of what the heck. So if you know, how is HSK1, HSK2, the 6 different levels, how are they divided up? I interviewed someone for my podcast recently who took HSK back when there were, I think he said 12 levels, and then I heard somebody last week, talking about when there were 10 levels, and now there are 6 levels. So seriously, what happened? If you teach Chinese, or if you've been learning the language for a long time, or you went through the levels when they were more than 6, please let me know if you know the difference between, like, what happened. Did they make it, rumor has it, one of the things I've heard is that they've made it easier for people to pass, and honest to God, there's no speaking in any of these, so how much easier can you make it when you take out production to that level? There is writing in 5 and 6, but that was 5. I do know it's the number 5. But there's no speaking in any of them, which is just obscene. And apparently, my husband found out recently that you can start a PhD program in some Chinese universities with HSK4. What? Anyway, so yeah. And somebody also asked me last week, you know, what HSK1, what is that equivalent on the Common European Framework? And I'm sure somebody has made the equivalent, but I don't know. And I think it's rather dangerous to compare European languages with Chinese as far as language learning goes. I think Phil's analogy from the recent interview is probably the best I've heard so far. Oh, we're going to cross the street again. Phil's analogy that he said recently in the interview is probably the best one I heard, where you learn slowly in Chinese, but it gets better. It's harder at first, but easier as you go on, whereas European languages are easy at first and harder as you go on. And I think that's probably one of the better descriptions that I've heard. Oh my God, I look like a ghost. Whoa. Anyway, I think that's one of the best things, the best comparisons I've seen. So to do a direct comparison level-wise feels like feels very inauthentic and really, really deceiving. So I really hesitate to do that. All I want to say is HSK1, passing HSK1 means I'm still studying. That's my equivalent. I haven't stopped yet, I'm building up vocabulary, and I haven't quit yet. HSK2, I feel like will be the same meaning for me, honestly. HSK3 will mean I've got something under my belt, but that's at the end of the year. So that'll be 9 months of playing with the language, an entire year of intensely studying the language. And after 2 years equivalent of studying, I will be able to produce something in some form. No promises as to what that'll be. I don't want that pressure. I don't need pressure. Anyway, so that's my question. I have no idea how HSK is organized. And it's really confusing to get this kind of nuanced vocabulary and grammar structures this early in the game. It's really tripping me out to have these nuances. Anyway, it doesn't get much lighter from here on out, so I'm going to end in a place where you can see me. Zachien.